Whenever you're ready, it's on.
Welcome back. I'm a student of East High.
And I'm a camper at Camp Rock.
And what do these two things have in common?
DCOM original movies.
Yep, it stands for Disney Channel Original Movies.
No way.
Yeah, I know. Well, there are
Shocker.
some people
Well, I
that
guess,
didn't grow up
yeah.
with.
There is
There are
some
some
people
people that
that
weren't big Disney kids,
maybe they were Nick kids,
Well,
Also alright. For the most
mhm,
part.
mhm. Well, like what I remember is basically if you weren't watching Disney, you were watching either Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network,
Oh, yeah.
or I was also kind of a PBS kid. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
watched the shows on
When I was
PBS, but
really little, yeah.
Well, mine went into I would be watching Disney and then there'd be stuff that I liked on PBS. Like I liked the show Zoom. I don't know if you ever heard of
Yes.
Zoom.
Yes.
Mhm.
Zoom was
Mhm.
my favorite. The
Yep.
intro to Zoom,
Yeah.
banger.
Fire.
Yes.
Fire.
Straight
See?
fire.
But that's for another day. We're not focusing on that today.
No, but we
We're
could
focusing on
go on
yeah, we
tangent
could
about Zoom.
for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably just have to make a special like another dedicated to this is going to be a part of a series
Because we have so
called the
much to talk
Nostalgia
about.
Hour.
Yeah, nostalgia
What I cut
hour.
you off there. I cut you off
But
there.
as the nostalgia hour, what would you
Yeah.
say is your first pick for this
Yeah,
episode?
so we wanted to just narrow it down because there's
There's too
endless
many.
amounts of them. We could just talk for hours about
Yes.
we could have a whole subsection of this pod just about Disney Channel original
Mhm.
movies. But the ones that the first of the three, we each picked three. So the first of my picks that I picked today, specifically High School Musical 2.
The
And there's
second
a
one.
reason for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's your
there's a reason for
well?
that.
Yeah, what's your reason?
Well, I watched it live. I watched
Oh,
it premiere on Disney Channel.
I remember.
Mhm.
I think I was getting a haircut that day, and and I was like I was rushing inside to make sure that I watched it live
I
because
thought you were
I
gonna
was
say you were getting a haircut, like, while you like, I thought you
no,
were gonna say, like, I
no,
was
I
getting a
went to
haircut
like the
while I was watching
hairdresser,
High
and I
School
just
Musical
remember it aired obviously at nighttime, and I just remember being so excited about it, and so I had to like
2. Mhm.
rush home or like
Yep.
run inside to make sure I didn't miss it because obviously then there's commercials
Mhm.
back then, like you couldn't. Uh,
Yeah, and it would always all the new movies, I believe, would always premiere at, like, 8 o'clock.
oh
Was,
yeah,
like, the
yep,
time slot when new stuff would always premiere. It'd be like, "This event, like, is at 8 o'clock,"
yes,
and it came out in you know what year? What
Noah.
if you had to guess what year? I have it up, so I'm gonna see if you can get it right.
Well, I
What
know
year
that
did High School Musical 2 come out? I wanna see if
2000.
you can get it right.
Well, 2008.
Very, very close. You were a year off. It's 2007. Isn't that
When did
insane?
the first one come out then? Because I
The
feel
first
like
one must have been like 2004 or
I
5.
gotta
Let me
look
see.
this up.
Mhm.
High School Musical.
Google is a friend of the pod. No, just a year earlier,
Oh,
2006.
okay.
You know what? The hype was probably so big that they were like, "We need to put these out before these kids look like they're way too old to be in
Yeah, I
this."
mean they already kind of
I mean,
did.
like, well, yeah, because they don't cast teenagers and things because teenagers are like awkward looking. So like they want
Yes,
people
they
to like
want
watch
it to be
things. So
good
they
looking, so you watch it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they now shows are a little bit better with the way they do that, like, they actually cast teenagers
yeah.
that look like teenagers, but
Like if
this
you
was
ever
the
have you ever seen High School Musical, the series?
no, no,
I've
but I know
seen
of
the
the
first
T
season
and
of it with like
everything.
Olivia Rodrigo, and they
Yeah,
obviously they're teens and they look like teens,
yeah,
so they
so
did a
the
better
this
job
shows
with
over
that.
time exactly, and it's good to, like, compare it, just shows how since the mid, late 2000s, they've
Oh
gotten
yeah,
better about, like, these are teenagers and they actually look like teenagers.
yes,
Just like but the difference I just remember, like, High School Musical, the first one I had watched, like, I heard about it months after it came out, but this one I watched live. So
oh
this was
yeah.
like this was
Mhm.
an event. This was an event. I remember, like, watching, like, all the different things, like, leading up to it all
Yes.
day, like, they were like, "We're gonna have a countdown to this," and then I'm
Oh
pretty sure they
yes.
played High School Musical 1 before it
Multiple times
to, like, get you
probably.
hyped up. Yep.
Yeah, all
And
day.
then on, like, the premiere night, they did, like, those little clips where they were, like, showing you the dance moves, like, in between.
Yes, and
The
they would
cast was,
have
like, showing the
yeah, and they would have the actors show you the dance moves.
Uh-huh,
They did
yeah.
that with Teen Beach Movie too. They had the actors. do that in
Yeah.
between as like a commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, but this movie, it's just amazing when you look at, like, pictures from the first one versus the second one. They really tried to make this look like a movie.
Oh yeah, they tried. And did you ever notice how blue his eyes are in the second movie?
Yeah, this whole movie has a
Like,
blue filter over it.
like like the filter's too much.
Yeah. I mean, they really even the poster is very blue, like, they're all
Oh,
standing in
they're
front of
all like
water.
yeah, jumping in the air.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
That
I mean, where
honestly,
do we
out of all the three High School Musicals,
Mhm.
is this your favorite one?
It has to be, 100%, it has to be,
It's,
because it's just the one that if I'm gonna go back and watch any of them, it's gonna be this one.
I think it's a toss
It's
up.
insane. Really?
Yeah,
Between which
between
one?
the second and third one.
I need to watch I've only seen the 3rd one. I don't know if it was because it was in theaters and I didn't go see it in theaters. I just
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
true.
the same emotional attachment to the 3rd one that I do the first 2. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's just so much going on in the 3rd one. They bring in some those, like, new characters. I'm just like,
Yeah,
"I don't know who these people are."
but
But I
the music
maybe
in
I
the
can just
second
watch
one
it back.
is by far my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They do
I don't
such a
think
good
there's any
job.
is there any skips? I'm gonna look on I literally have Spotify open. This is why I'm
Yeah.
playing them on Discord on my phone. I don't think
I
there's any
I don't think there's any
skip
songs in that movie that I'm like, "Eh, I could like skip it if I were
yeah.
like, let me look at the songs."
I mean, I just think it's, like, the ridiculousness of it too, like, the when they have the opening number, like, the big clock
Oh
behind them
yeah,
going
and they're
large.
all like summer, summer, and you're
Summer,
like, "What's gonna
summer,
happen?" And then
yeah.
they just break out and dance. And you're like, "Oh, okay." It's just
Mhm, mhm,
that's a classic. Fabulous, also just great. When she's just like in
mhm.
the pool and Ryan's just playing the piano in the full suit with like the train and that hat. Uh, and what's your favorite song from the film?
I'm looking at the list right now because there's so many I could pick
Oh
from.
yeah,
Just because like,
I've always been a fan of Work This Out. I feel like that's probably my favorite.
work this out. Oh, yeah, that's the one when they're all in the kitchen, right?
And I know as
Yeah.
a kid I tried to learn that dance.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, they were encouraging you to learn it
Yeah.
because the whole first premiere was them doing the dance
Oh
moves
yeah.
on
And
Disney
there's
Channel.
even a video game for the
Really?
DS.
Wait.
Yeah. There's a High
Oh.
School Musical 2 Work This Out Nintendo DS game.
I feel like there had to be a game for, like, the Wii too, am I
Oh,
nuts? Or is
probably.
there, like there
No,
was,
I
like, a
did.
or something like a Scene It game,
Yeah, there was a
something that
Disney
came with,
cha-
like, a DVD or something.
there was a Disney Channel scene it
Oh my god.
that had like all the old school Disney on it. But I
Oh,
remember there was a Wii game and it was like a karaoke one. And so it had all the song almost every song from all the High School Musicals on it.
I'm trying to look up if there was specifically a game for the second one. Something
There yeah, the
else.
Nintendo DS
Oh,
had
yeah, it's the
one.
DS one. Hmm.
I don't
I just
remember
remember
that.
there being, like,
I'm
a
surprised I didn't have that. Honestly, I was obsessed with anything Zac Efron. Still am.
yeah.
So he's
He
still
has
to this day.
consistently stayed your type.
He's still to this day my type.
Yes. No, wait, this was what I was thinking. I just Googled it, and there's a High School Musical 2 DVD game, and it comes with, like it's like a Mattel game, like, I probably
Oh,
saw it at, like, Toys R Us or something, and it's literally, like it comes with, like, a board game, and you can play as, like, each little character.
all right. Where is this? We're getting this. For your
When we
what's
have the
next?
game night at your house,
Yes.
at your place.
All right. It's probably really cheap, honestly.
I just sent you the product from
Yes.
rugame.com.
Yes. And you know, depending on how much it is, which is probably cheap considering
It's under
oh,
$20,
okay, yeah.
so
I feel like me and you are going to be the only ones that are hype about it.
Yeah.
We're just like rocking out, and everyone's like, okay.
And we know all the answers, and everybody's like, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Based on the hit Disney Channel movie High School Musical 2, this DVD board game lets kids take part in the fun. They compete across several movie based categories as they watch clips, original outtakes, and songs and dances from the movie. And the player with the greatest knowledge of the movie wins. There's four different
Hmm.
categories: song, dance, questions, and answers. And actual or not so. Oh God. Oh, for ages 8 and up. So we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We got this. We got
There's there was a debate about that because of how short I am, but you know.
yeah. Sorry, you can't actually play.
Oh
You
man.
are pretty short.
Yeah.
I would
Four
say
4'11" gang.
5'7.5", almost 5'8" gang. Well, my license
Which one?
says
Which
5'7".
one is it? No, I'm just.
My license has to say 5'7" because it can't do halves. So
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. That makes sense though, because like I guess they have a limited amount of space to
yeah.
put it. You know.
What
You know
was?
what
Oh
song
yes.
is very I didn't mean to cut you off there,
Oh
but you
no
know
no.
what song is very bizarre? I was looking at the track list on Spotify.
Is it
Do you remember the
the huma huma something
Yes.
something?
You took the
Yes.
words right out of my mouth. Yes, the song about the Hawaiian
Yes, and it
fish,
was
I
never
believe.
actually in the movie from what I can remember. It was just like an extra at the end that they played. It was never part of
Oh,
the
okay.
original like timeline of the film. I just remember that
Yeah,
was supposed to be what her and Ryan did together. And then she
right.
bailed on Ryan to do something with Troy,
Mhm.
and she was like, just sell the costume on eBay or something, make some money. And then he
God.
got pissed off, and then
Yeah, because this whole plot of this movie is just Sharpay going, trying to get Troy to do the talent show with her,
yep. Well, she
basically.
always did kind of. I mean, she was awful, but at the same
Yeah.
time, she did more to trying to help Troy than Gabriella did. At least in this film.
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird. In the whole thing that I find is really odd. The only thing that I don't like about this one versus the first one is in the first movie, I feel like Gabriella has like a personality. In this
Yes.
movie, they just kind of take it away.
Yeah, and then
Like
towards
it's
the
just like
end
she's just
where
kind of
she was,
standing there.
yeah, and she towards the end when they're like fighting and they're like singing
Hmm.
about it, and she's just like, I gotta go my own way, like blah blah blah. It's like you didn't do anything this whole entire film.
Yeah, I
Where
know.
are you
I
going?
know it's like
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's like summer and everything in this movie, but they never do any mention of like her continuing with like the school like decathlon
Yes.
stuff or anything like that. Because a lot of
And you would
times I know those things would have something going on over the
yeah, and
summer.
especially
I would think.
Taylor too, because they were both in the first film,
Mhm.
like dead set on this thing, especially
Yeah.
Taylor. And I
Right.
don't think she ever mentioned. None of them really ever mentioned what they would do after summer, or what they were going to do
No.
next fall, or any
Because are
mention
they
of
supposed to
college.
be? No, because the last movie is about them. Their last like
Senior
summer
year,
like
yeah.
before right senior year.
So
So
they
then this movie
probably,
is what like junior year.
I guess so, because the first one they're what, freshmen? No, they're probably sophomores. I think.
Mhm. I think so. See,
I
this
think,
this is
yeah.
we do our research here. See,
I have Google. Google it.
true,
It just
true.
says the summer break and the kids of East High are out for some fun. Unfortunately, they're all broke and must get jobs in order to be able to afford to enjoy themselves. Troy thinks his problem is solved when he gets a job at Sharpay's family resort, but doesn't realize she has an ulterior motive for hiring him. Luckily, some of his fellow Wildcats have jobs there too.
And he
What a
basically brings the whole entire group from school with him.
literally his entire friend group.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Which means they
props
must
to
have a
him.
lot of like positions to fill at the
Yeah, you
country
would
club.
think country clubs are very strict with who they hire.
You would think, but
Like
I guess
Troy
not in
makes
this movie.
sense and maybe Gabriella makes sense, but I don't think I would hire. I don't know the kid with the swoopy hair. That's not Zach. And he's
I don't
always
know.
like, And he's always, remember the one that was like, "So are you doing anything fun this summer, Miss Darbus?" And they're all like, "Come on, really, that kid? Like, why was he
Okay.
work? Like, he should not have gotten that job."
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what they were all putting down for their. Did they have to do the full application? They have to write a cover letter. I want to
Probably
know.
not, considering
No, I
Troy
know.
was just like, "Oh, I'm not going to do it unless they're all okay to do it."
No, it was just like a nepotism esque thing. They're just like, I know
Hmm.
this guy. He's gonna get me this job.
Yeah,
Which I guess worked. They got paid
they got
that summer,
paid,
maybe more than the other students at the school. So,
and the whole movie is just so dramatic.
oh, I
Especially
know.
"Gotta Go My Own Way" when they're just standing on the bridge and they're just
Yeah.
crying, basically.
Hmm.
And then he just looks so
So
sad. Well,
what about when Troy comes in and goes, "What about us?"
I know. It, well, but it's like, Troy, you have been like ignoring her this entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, she
Oh,
has not tried to like converse with him on it.
it was
Like,
just very, very awkward the entire time.
and then when you get to the ending, like "Every Day" song, and he's singing and he hears her voice, but he can't see her. Like the dramatic
Yeah,
look around to find her. He's like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
it is her," and you're like, "Yeah." I mean, who had the
yeah,
like whose voice is it? Like,
yeah. I mean, if you asked what my favorite song would be, I would probably have to pick "Bet on It." I mean, that's the obvious
honestly,
choice here, is it
oh
not?
yes.
For me, at least.
Okay, I love when he's clearly like standing at the pool or the whatever, and it's the
Hmm.
worst CGI reflection. Like clearly no one's gonna see their reflection like that, but it's just so dramatic and so fake. I love it.
No, and I love the lyrics to see yourself and not recognize your face.
Oh yeah, wait, I gotta look up the lyrics
Poetry.
again. I just
You know what I love too? I'm looking on Spotify, and I love how when you look at the credits for who sings the song, some of the credits will say the actors, and some of the credits will say the characters.
really.
like, like forgot my gotta go. Yeah, like forgot to go my own way. It says Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens, but then you go to bet on it, and it says Troy.
Oh, it does.
Walt
It
Disney.
says Troy and Walt Disney, as if he came back to life to help
Yeah,
Troy sing
and
this.
and then look at above with I don't dance. It says all in caps, Chad.
Just wait, just Chad, not his last
Chad.
name, just
Yeah, I
Chad.
know, but it's like none of the other names are
Wait,
capitalized. They just have
wait. I
every
love that it's
all
not
caps.
just in all caps. It has the periods
Mhm.
between each letter.
Yeah,
Artist Chad.
Chad.
Wait,
Yeah,
but then if you
but some
click
of them just
on
say Disney.
wait, but then it says like so when you click on Chad because you can click on his name, it obviously says
Hmm.
like the names. It says musical artist Chad. I don't dance, and then a bunch of other songs I don't understand. Like I'm very
Yeah, like
confused.
that, and that's literally just the Spotify page for the character of Chad.
Yes,
It's not for Corbin Blue because it would
yeah,
have the other music that he made. It's
yes,
for Chad specific.
yes.
Who's
I
doing
didn't
this?
realize. Wait, and then when you click on what time is it, it just says song. It doesn't tell you his things. It doesn't say who's in it.
Who sung this? Doesn't matter.
Oh, see, like work this out. Song by High School Musical cast. So it makes. So why? I don't get why some of them. And I love how "Gotta Go My Own Way" has Vanessa Hudgens first, then Walt
Hmm.
Disney, then Zac Efron. He's last. He doesn't
Yep.
count.
Unless of importance, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Wait, do you remember
But to
now that I was thinking about the movie again, do you
mhm,
remember I remember this because I was really hyped to participate, but they had a thing back then where when they are announcing that the movie was coming out and there's going to be a
mhm,
cameo in the film somewhere, and they had a
mhm,
list of people that you can take like a vote on
mhm.
as to
Oh
who
yeah.
you wanted to be seen in that movie. And I'm pretty sure I selected Cheetah Girls.
Mhm. Was
And
that the other option?
I think the
Was
Cheetah
there so
Girls
there's
was.
three of them?
I think there's three options,
Okay.
and I don't remember who the third option was, but I'm pretty sure the one of the options was the Cheetah Girls, and then obviously Miley Cyrus, and then some other person, and she was in it.
Wait, I'm trying to see. Yeah, well, now we know that Miley is the one that got the cameo, and she's dancing by the pool at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in the what, All for One,
Yes.
that song?
Yeah, the very last
Okay.
song.
Yeah, I remember. Was that poll? Why do I remember that being on like they were like go to disneychannel.com
Oh,
and
it
vote now.
was so hype.
But that's what it was. It was like a, I want to say like either like a week or two before it was
Oh,
supposed to premiere, and then they were like, "Who do you want to see in the movie? Go to
yes.
disneychannel.com and vote." So maybe they had them all filmed, and
That's
then they
true.
just
And
aired the
then,
one that won.
and so someone on Reddit said, I specifically remember one of the nominees as the Jonas Brothers. And I think the
Hmm.
other one was Raven Simone. So that would make sense because I was thinking of two
Yeah, for
girls.
that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
2006, that's what Raven was either still on or maybe just ended.
Yeah. It was on the end of it because I remember that was way. When did that start?
Oh, yeah,
That's
2003. And then it ended in 20
okay.
or 2007. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, but I think Hannah Montana was just had
Hannah
just
Montana was
started.
on the rise then.
Yeah.
So it made more sense that people would want to see that instead.
Mhm.
But you would think the Jonas Brothers were big enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Huh,
I don't know. They're probably all like close. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
remember. I don't remember if I might have voted for Miley. I might have because I think it was probably like Hannah Montana was like the big thing
Yeah. I think
right
I
then because
voted
it,
for
it was like
Raven.
all new. Raven, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
good time. Honestly, it's probably these are probably my favorite sets of like trilogy DCOM movies. Like
yeah,
just
High School Musical. I mean, I
yeah,
think it's the one that stays the most consistent
yeah.
because there is another movie on my list we'll talk about later, but I want you to probably go to one of your picks
Oh
next.
yes.
But there's another movie on my list that's part of a trilogy, and some could argue that it didn't
It didn't
end as
end
well
well.
as it started.
It did not. But
Yeah,
mine is not a trilogy. But
yeah,
what's a non trilogy? A duo? Is there another term?
yeah,
A
yeah. I guess you could
duo of
say duo.
movies?
Duo is two, so
Two.
yeah.
Mine is Camp Rock,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh,
I
see, we were just talking about the Jonas Brothers. There you go.
yes.
That's a good
And
past
Camp
segue.
Rock to me was everything. Because I was
Hmm.
already on the Demi Lovato hype train. I saw her in concert for her first album.
Ooh, that's really special.
Yeah, her
Like La La Land, like then.
yeah, her Don't Forget, which had La La
That's
Land on it. But
wow.
I remember seeing that in concert. And do you remember? I don't know if I ever told you. Do you know who her headliner was?
Wait, who?
David Archuleta.
Oh wow.
That's how old you know this was. And then, so obviously, I saw her in
That's
concert,
crazy.
and then I saw Camp Rock 2, the final jam in concert. So,
That's
I was
wow.
very obsessed with Camp Rock and the Jonas Brothers, Nick Jonas. Oh,
Mhm.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
But Camp Rock, so it
yeah.
came
I
out
saw.
in 2000. Oh, guess what year?
Guess what year?
Yeah. So High
Camp
School
Rock. I'm
Musical
trying to
2,
think in
yeah, High School
relation to High
Musical
School
2
Musical. Two
was
was
what? Yeah,
2007. Oh nine. That's my guess.
close. 2008.
Okay. Okay.
So
We were
they're all
both one
kind
year off
of,
for our
or
guesses.
yeah, they're all kind of around the same era of Disney.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite song from that movie?
From Camp Rock.
The
Oh
OG.
God, I can't think of a song right now. I'm gonna bring it up, but you know what? You know what? Like, it's just making me laugh. I keep thinking about that one part where I don't know her character's name, but it was played by Alison Stoner,
Oh yes,
and they
I
go
think I
to
know
her,
what you're talking about.
and she's like, "Look at this," and then she just like
Yeah, wait.
pushes like a button. She just goes beep boop, but like she's like, what is she like a DJ basically?
Yes, okay. So from what I remember,
She just presses a bunch of buttons, and she's like, "Look at this."
yeah, well, from what I
And they're like,
remember, she
"Wow,
was some
she's
sort
so
of
good."
like musical DJ style, like artist. That was
Yeah.
her
Mhm.
talent, and it is talent. But like in the
Mhm.
Disney Channel era, like how they did it was so bad. So in the beginning, when they first her and Demi Lovato first met, I think she just pushed a button on her computer and it played music.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
how they introduced that. And then obviously Demi started going in with like the I don't know what their names were in that movie, but the
Mitchie? Isn't Demi's name is Mitchie?
Mitchie
I'm pretty
and
sure. Yeah.
Mitchie, and she was hanging out with all that whole like group of bad girls, whatever their group name
Mhm.
was. And then so they were all wearing like these horrible matching green outfits, and they're at this like performance. And then that's when Alison Stoner's character was like, "Oh, watch this," and she was like hitting all these buttons, like breakdancing, but only with her upper body. Like, do you
Yeah.
remember how bad it was? And then
Yeah.
she's going for it, and Mitchie was like, "Wow, she's like really good," and like the two girls are like talking about how good she is, and then
Mhm.
Tess, like the evil girl, was like, "I'm not having this." So she's like randomly like starts screaming that there's a snake on the ground, so everyone's freaking out, and it's just a cord that plugs into like the laptop, so it just ruins Alison Stoner's performance.
Oh man.
But the kicker was, um, when she's doing those hand symbols on her like forehead, I guess like the L or whatever, but she's doing like the multiple hand symbols, and Mitchie's like, I don't know what that is, and then the other girl goes, she's saying whatever major loser. And I just remember, and then I think Mitchie goes, "Wow, whatever, major loser. That's so last year or something." Like that's her comeback to make Tess, like the mean girl, be offended.
Yeah, I
Ah,
remember. I can picture them making the hands like the
the
letters on their head,
W's and
whatever major loser.
yes,
Yeah.
and you're like, "What
Yeah.
is that?" And it's like that was so last year, and like, and they walk away.
But Disney around that era had a lot of like a lot of the shows that we watched when we were younger, there was a lot of handshakes, a lot of secret handshakes, a lot of
Yes, Hannah
hand
Montana
movements.
had the what's call it? The
Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah, yeah. And
yes.
then do you remember from, what's that? It's, both like a song and hand movement, but from where Wizards of Waverly Place. What's that?
Oh,
A
the
hat?
yes.
What's that?
Yeah.
A hat?
Crazy
Crazy
funky
funky
chunky
chunky hat.
hat.
I'm not gonna sing it.
I don't know
Can
the
you get copyright just from singing it?
the way we're singing probably. No, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
But you
sound
asked
like
me
a
my
dying
favorite.
whale, so I think we're okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not at my peak performance
And then
either, it's fine.
and then, and then you have that scene. And then you have the
Yes.
scene where she's in the kitchen and she hears him coming, so she like ducks, but somehow she ends up with like flour all over her face. But
Yeah,
like
I
clearly it's
specifically
not,
remember that.
it's like perfectly placed and round, like no
Mhm.
mess. And then
Because I
he's
think she had access to the kitchen because wasn't her mom like a
yeah, her
cook?
mom, that's the only way she was able to actually get to the camp
Right,
was
because her mom was cooking for the
yes.
camp. Right.
And so then but she pretended that her mom was the owner of like some beauty store in China, and her dad owns like some record label in China, and that's how
Right.
she got in with
Right.
all like the it girls. But
Yeah.
here's the description of it on
Mhm.
Google. A teenage girl desperately wants to spend her summer in a rock camp, but the only way she can get it in is by working in the kitchen. When a teen pop star overhears her singing, he sets out to find the girl behind the voice. Like if I read that now and I never saw Camp Rock and I didn't grow up with it, I'd be like, what the hell is this? Like absolutely not. But because I grew up with it, I'm like, yes. Plus the
Yeah.
Jonas
Well, I
Brothers were
mean,
in it. Oh my god.
true. I think that probably would be my favorite song though, is the song that he sings.
Oh
"You're the voice
yes, this is
inside
me.
my," 'cause you hear it multiple times throughout the movie.
Yes, also Play My Music was a good starter, like fun, fast
Right.
song. But
It got the hype going.
and then they had Hasta La Vista. Do you remember that song?
Yeah,
Where
I
like part
do.
of it
That
was in
involved a
like
lot of dancing, didn't it?
yes, and it was like what
Okay.
the big group performed at like the final jam
Right.
because it was like the
Mhm.
last hurrah before camp ended. I
But
just
I think if I'm picking that song by him, I think I specifically want the version that starts out as her singing "This Is Me," and then when he comes onto the stage and
Yes.
sings it,
Because
that's
there is like the
specifically that
slow one,
version.
I think, that he sings himself.
Yeah.
But I like the one where he like realizes it's her
Mhm.
and then he joins her. And that was like my childhood. Like that was a huge moment. I was like, oh my God. And then of
Do you
course in
remember the?
Disney Channel, because back then they
Yeah.
didn't do like you never saw any of them kissing or doing any of
No.
that. And so at the very end, it's like right when they're about to kiss and they're like backstage.
Mhm.
I think the mom walks in
Mhm.
and that's it. And you're
I
like,
think you're right.
oh,
They would do a
come
lot of that.
on. And then you
They did that a
realize,
lot in Callback to High School Musical too. They did that a lot in the High School Musical
oh
franchise as
yeah.
well.
But
Like I
now
believe
and
there's
then
always
as
something where like
Disney
they're always
Channel went
about to kiss
on,
and
like
then gets cut off.
yeah. But as it went on, I guess they were more like, all right. But why did it matter so much back then?
I
I mean,
don't know. I guess
maybe it
maybe
was the
they were just
time.
like yeah, just maybe like I guess people were maybe more I don't know, like they didn't what they were like worried about what parents would say. I
I
don't know.
guess so. You know what else
Maybe.
I heard?
But
And I think you heard this too. But I saw on Instagram that Demi was high during the entirety of like both movies.
yep,
And if you look
yep.
at it now, like watching back and seeing a lot of her facial expressions, you're like, oh yeah, you were definitely
You're
high.
kind of like, oh that checks out.
That checks
Yeah.
out. Like you're a little
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
You're too
Just
smiley,
think of
too
the
happy.
smile.
Your
I
eyes are
was
very
about to say the
wide.
smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also heard that she was going through like the toughest time of her life during these films.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, a lot of it's a shame that a lot of these remembering a lot of these nostalgic things comes with caveats because a lot of the time some of the
Oh yeah.
actors that are in it are suffering, and we will probably definitely be discussing that
Oh
in a
yeah.
future episode, maybe of something involving Nickelodeon
Oh
for sure.
God. I need that to come
Yep,
out. I don't know when it's coming
yep,
out, but it needed to come out.
yeah. We're talking about the documentary where
Yeah.
people are going to talk about Dan Schneider. So when that comes out,
Oh,
we'll
I can't
definitely be
wait for
talking
that
about
to
that.
come out.
Oh yeah,
And then like in
oh
the
yeah.
second film, they were still dating. But I don't know
Really.
exactly when Joe and
Oh yeah,
Demi
there was
broke
tea.
up.
Everybody on Disney dated everybody. It was
Oh yeah.
weird. You know,
Well,
Miley Cyrus even dated Dylan Sprouse. I didn't know that,
really?
but
Oh.
I found that out
Oh,
recently.
oh.
It was like a very short period of
Well,
time,
because
apparently.
so
But
the timeline I think was Nick was dating who's Miley.
Miley, yeah,
Then didn't he move
because
on to Selena?
seven things is about him.
Yes,
You didn't know that,
yes.
but
And
you
then
probably
didn't
did.
he go from Miley to Selena?
Yeah, he dated Selena at one point.
Yeah, and then Joe was dating Demi.
Demi,
But
yep.
then they made that whole song. Do you remember that song that they all
No,
made
I'm trying.
together?
What, like the YouTube when they had all
No,
YouTube
no.
channels?
Well, no, not that.
Okay,
But they made like
I thought you were talking about like the beef between like Miley and Selena.
no,
Remember their like
no.
YouTube channel?
What was that song called? It was like make a change.
Oh yeah, Disney Channel would always have these like
Yes.
songs that they would make every couple of like they would do it every time like somebody else became popular when like a couple of the different shows had changed out. They would make like, oh, this is a song for benefiting this charity, and then they would have them. It
Yes.
was like Disney Channel's We Are the World, basically.
Yes. And it
Yeah,
oh yeah, Send It On was the song.
yeah.
That's what it's called.
No, it
And
was
it
literally like that's what people have compared it to. Like it's literally like
yes,
We Are the
but
World,
it
but
had the Jonas Brothers, Miley, Demi, and Selena. Like how awkward is that? That like we're
hmm
making that when everyone's like broken up.
yeah.
Like that's so bad.
Yeah, that's probably why they were like telling them. They probably told them like, "Oh, be careful, like don't maybe." I don't know if they had rules about anything, but it was definitely very awkward. Like,
Oh
imagine
yeah.
you just show up to work and your ex is
Oh, and then I felt so bad
okay.
because
hmm
I'm pretty sure when I was at the concert for the Camp Rock 2, I think that was during the time when he got with what's her face? Taylor Swift. Was he with Taylor Swift?
Joe Jonas, yeah,
Yeah. I think that's when all of that was happening was
Mhm.
during them touring for Camp Rock 2. So imagine like you're singing all these songs together and you find out like he cheated on you.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I think that that checks out too, because I think a lot of songs on "Speak Now" are about
Yep.
doing this. So
Yep.
yeah, Purple Dress
Yeah.
album, if you're not sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, but yeah. If what is your what's your like one? Did you pick like one favorite song?
Oh, I would pick I would say either This Is Me
Mhm.
with the version
Classic.
where they're both in it. But
Yeah.
We Rock is a classic.
Yeah.
Good ending. So maybe that one. No, I'm gonna go with This Is
Okay.
Me. It's like the staple Camp Rock song. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
classic. And then but I think now, you know what I think is the thing that's most associated with Camp Rock now? That meme where they're doing Step in the second
Yes.
one.
And
They're
oh
like
God.
Camp Rock.
Camp Rock.
That's been photoshopped
Oh
probably
God.
into about just about anything.
I can't remember his
A
name, but you know that one TikTok guy that like imitates.
lot of TikTok guys.
Oh, but it's that one specific guy that like does all the Disney movies. It's so funny.
Can you find out and you get back to me next time? We'll
Yes.
update you guys next
Yes.
time when we find out who this TikTok
Yeah.
guy is.
I forget what his name is, but he's so funny and he does all the different scenes and the clips from these movies.
It's one of the lip sync accounts. I'll
Yes.
find again. I'm probably gonna think of it like 2 hours
You're
from
yeah,
now and
you're
be like,
it's gonna
oh
be like
wait,
3 a.m. Oh boy.
yeah,
Here it is.
oh boy, 3
Oh boy. Time for a
Oh
Krabby Patty.
God.
What is
Ah.
so what's your second movie pick?
So my second pick is gonna be the Disney Channel original classic, Get a Clue,
Okay. So I have not
starring none of yeah,
yes. Lindsay Lohan.
yes.
And
I was about to say starring none.
I have not seen it probably since it came out. Like I
Yeah,
honestly had no clue. So it was like rewatching it was watching it like for the first time.
yeah. They're basically like spies. It's insane.
Well, first, it's funny when you think about it because how did they get away with saying some of the stuff that they did?
Early
Like,
2000s,
I guess so.
basically.
Yeah. So when do you know when it came out? Because I'm googling it now. Do you know when it came out?
2002,
Yep.
which kind of makes sense because that would have been maybe like a year before Freaky Friday. I'm pretty sure Freaky Friday came out in 2003.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
2003. It's weird
yeah,
because when you look at her and get a clue, she looks like a child.
I know.
And then you
She does look
go,
young.
and then a year later, she looks like a teenager. And how old was she in this movie?
Well, I'm thinking this is probably like it takes time for it to be like edited and like sent out. So like when I look at a movie, I always think like, oh, it's
Oh,
probably filmed the year before.
that's true.
So maybe it was filmed in like 2001. And well, we know what historical event happened in 2001, so maybe that also halted,
That's
like maybe
true.
depending on
Movies
when they
and
were filming.
yeah,
9/11 could have happened and then could have halted. I know a lot of movies had to stop production. People had
yeah.
to take time to heal. So maybe that held things up. So maybe that might be why she looks so young in the movie.
So
But
according to
let me read the.
Google, like if you're
Yeah, I was
doing the
about to read the
math,
description.
oh yeah, if you're doing the
Yeah.
math, she would have been 16 in that movie,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't fit the way she looks. But read the
Yeah.
description.
But I was gonna say, well, I love when you Google it and then it says, in a nutshell, this movie is lighthearted, charming, and playful. I
Is
don't
it?
know. Like, is it?
What?
I just remember
Who is
watching
saying
this.
that?
I guess they just assume because it's like, watch, it's probably somebody who's like never seen it, and they're like, oh, is it a kids movie? It's
They're
this,
just
this, this.
they're looking at the cover art and they're like, "Oh, this is
Mm-hmm.
lighthearted."
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna read this description
Oh
here. So this
yes.
is when you Google it, this is what comes up. It says Lexi is a spoiled rich kid who loves to get the best stories for her school's gossip column, but a pic she publishes of her teachers triggers a strange course of events, and one of the teachers goes missing. With her friend Jack, she decides to investigate and finds herself caught in a web of intrigue. And then the last sentence says, "It's an explosive parcel of action and
Parcel.
adventure." I'm like,
Also,
what a choice of words
do
to
you know
use.
who Jack is?
Yeah, I was just about to say,
He's the
none
little
other than
rascal.
Mr.
Which,
Alfalfa.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I did not know that until I googled like the cast and it said Bug Hall, and I was like, oh, alfalfa.
Yep. Yep. And I could talk about that movie too because I watched that movie a
Oh
lot growing
yes,
up. Little
Whoopi
Rascals was
Whoopi
probably on my
Goldberg's in
TV like
it,
every other
and
week.
Whoopi and
Oh,
Reba
that's right.
and Reba.
Oh, that's right, because they have all the random adults
Yeah,
playing their parents. That's right. Wild.
but when I
But
was watching this movie, so
yeah.
obviously the teacher fakes his death,
Mhm.
disappears, and it's a whole thing because you think, oh, he's trying to get away from like the other teacher that he was in love with, but now he's not in love with. So like, why would he fake
Mhm.
his death? How three teenagers found him and did all that. The world will never know. But when they found him and they're talking about like what actually happened, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I was arrested for embezzlement," and you're like, "This is a Disney Channel movie, and you're talking
I
about
know.
fraud and
I had
embezzlement."
to double check. It did premiere on Disney Channel.
Yes,
It wasn't like an ABC Family movie that like got ported to
yes,
Disney or anything. It premiered on Disney
and
Channel.
I
Could you
guess,
imagine a parent like sitting with their kid? I'm pretty sure my mom or dad probably watched this movie with me,
oh
and they were like,
yeah,
"What is going
it was
on?"
Lindsay Lohan, so I probably watched it when it came on.
Yeah,
But I guess we're so
and I
young we
mean,
don't see, like,
no,
notice any of
no,
that.
we just see that girl from that other movie that I watched is in
And then
this
Brenda
thing. I'm gonna
Song's
watch it.
in it, a
Oh
classic.
yeah, and I didn't realize how many DCOMs she was in, even before like Sweet Life.
Oh yeah, she was
Yeah.
Wendy Wu, and
Wendy Wu
then
was great. I think that might have been after Sweet Life, but you know which one I looked up
was
recently
it
and
the
I forgot
Christmas one?
existed?
Not the
Yeah,
Christmas
The
one.
Ultimate Christmas
Yes,
Present. You
that
ever
one.
watch it? Yeah, it was like that's a great one.
That's the
If
one
we
with the
have one
time
for like
machine,
Disney,
right? Where
it's the
they
one with it's a weather
weather
machine. So
machine.
like
Yes,
they wanted to like snow on Christmas because they're in
yes,
like California and they wanted to snow on Christmas, so
yes.
they make like a weather machine, but then it makes the weather or seasons all weird. Like it
Yep,
keeps snowing or something like that. I think.
yes. I was
But
just,
yeah.
I was just shocked, like, because I couldn't remember this movie at all. So when I was watching it, and I was like, oh, nope, don't recognize that. And then
Mhm.
he just talked about embezzlement. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it's just like I just always
And then,
watched this and it was just
and
always
that,
like such a nostalgic thing for me, but I just didn't realize how like the
yes.
themes are like so dark.
And then who was the bad guy? What was he in?
What was he in?
He
What
looked,
was his name? I'm trying to look
he
up the
looked
cast right
really
now.
familiar. Like I know exactly where he's from. If I don't know it. What is his name?
Trying
Oh,
to see.
it's gonna bother. Oh, this guy, Charles Shaughnessy. That's probably
Oh, you no, you know the again, another decom. Did you ever see My Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire?
yes. That's what he's
That's
from.
him.
Yep.
That's him. Yep.
Oh, and he's in the
Oh, that's
nanny.
if we ever do an episode specifically for Halloween decoms, that's gonna be one of
Oh
mine.
yeah.
I've
Also,
watched that.
did you
I
ever
just watched
watch
that like last year.
Did you ever watch the nanny
The
growing up
Nanny.
with Fran Drescher?
No, but I've seen the clips and I know he's like
Yeah.
the guy in it,
He's the
like
dad.
yeah,
Yep.
of like the family that she nannies for.
Mhm.
But I've been considering like watching it because people always like
It
always
is really
even just
good.
her outfits. Like they're like, oh look at her iconic outfits. I
Oh,
want to
they
watch it even just
are.
because of that.
They're so iconic.
Yeah,
And
but I've always heard it's a good show.
her voice
Now
though,
I know.
it gets to be a bit much.
It's like Janice from Friends, but turned up to 11.
Yep. Yep. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it reminds me of.
yeah. I mean, did that come before? Because now I'm thinking if Janice was like a bit on that. I wonder.
Yeah,
Who knows?
because I
Yeah, it probably was before that.
probably.
Interesting. But
And
yeah. This is what more could you want from this? You got scandal, you got journalism, Lindsay
Yeah,
Lohan.
parcel of action and adventure. So
And
like
like to one kid, like has the camera and he's just like recording
oh,
everything.
and then at the end she like turns the camera around and films
Hmm.
him, and you're like, okay.
Iconic.
The fact that
The budget for this movie was $1 million. I just want
that's
to put that out.
Rotten Tomatoes scores it a 40%, so
Yeah.
that's accurate.
Okay.
I guess for
What do you
2002.
mean? It's 100% now. I just it's if it was on the nostalgia scale, it would be very high for
Oh
me.
yeah,
I've just
because
yeah.
you have the peak people in the movie, and you got Lindsay
Mhm.
Lohan, Brenda Song, then you got Alfalfa. So if you've ever watched Little Rascals, like that's a huge thing. You got a lot of good people in here.
I know. Oh, well, what's your second pick?
Oh,
Let me go on to
I'm
yours.
gonna go with. I'll save the one for this month last.
Yeah, appropriate for
But
this month.
my second pick, and it's probably by far my favorite. I think I would
Mhm.
have to say this is my favorite one,
Okay.
at least in the more recent years.
Mhm.
Lemonade Mouth.
Hell yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
I don't know what it is about this
Starring CEO
movie.
Bridget Mendler. Yeah,
Doctor.
she's a doctor. She's
What
like a CEO
she has? Yeah, she's
now.
a CEO now of like what is it?
I think it's a okay. Here we go. We need to do research. Need to be committed to research on the pod. Here we go.
Yes. Oh, so her education: University of Southern California, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Harvard. Hello, because she's 31 and she has a full like PhD.
She's a CEO of a startup space, like a
Yes,
space
that's what it
company.
is. So
Co-founder of Northwood Space, a company based in El Segundo, California.
yeah,
Aims to
so
mass produce. Let me just see what her. Let's say aims to mass produce ground stations, otherwise known as antennae, that communicate with space satellites. So she's making space satellites. That's
like
crazy.
it says in the late 2010s, she began focusing on her education. So from 2017 to 2023, she was a student and researcher at the MIT Media Lab. She's also registered as a PhD with MIT Center of Constructive Communications and Social Machine Group, and then she earned her JD from Harvard.
Hmm.
And then she became the CEO and co-founder of Northwood Space. And she's only
Iconic.
31.
Iconic.
And
I
did you
can't.
know?
I'm still trying to buy a house.
Um, and she has a child. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know it,
Yeah.
but I saw like a Twitter thing, and she like adopted, like she was fostering this kid, and then she adopted with her husband.
And
So
that
that
is
was
super
really cool.
sweet. That is
But
super sweet.
I don't know what. I know it's based off of, I think a book. I think the book is called Lemonade Mouth, maybe.
So is
Um,
my next pick is also based off a book series,
is
and
it?
I didn't know that. Yep. I didn't know that when I was younger.
Oh, me
I
neither.
probably would have read them. Yeah, I
But
think I think they were like in this little Scholastic book fair once
oh,
or twice. But
yes. So guess what year this movie was out?
Lemonade Mouth was later.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to put it to the timeline of like when Good Luck Charlie was on.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was
I was
around
also
there.
watching
Yeah.
that 2014. Is that a little too late? Or
A little too late.
probably. Okay.
It was actually
2012.
a year after Good Luck Charlie, so 2011.
Okay. Okay. Again, I said my second guess was
Yes.
2012, so I was getting there.
And this Google description, straightforward to the point. 5 high school students form a music group and prepare to compete against a popular rock band. What kind of boring description is that?
Doesn't give it justice at all.
No, I would not watch that if
Refund.
I were reading it.
Refund.
Yes. And it got an 80% though on Rotten Tomatoes, which I will say is pretty accurate.
And it's
And
also described, excuse me, as lighthearted, playful, and spirited is how it's which actually that's pretty accurate,
that's
honestly.
accurate.
Yeah.
And then because yeah, Bridget Mendler, Blake Michael, who was in, do you remember Dog with a Blog?
Yeah. That
Terrible
was a
show.
moment.
So bad.
Yeah.
But he was in that. And then Naomi Scott's in it. And she's
Yeah, and then she went on to
Jasmine.
be Jasmine in the live action of Aladdin, which
Yes.
was,
I did not
it
see
was
that.
okay.
Was it alright?
It was okay.
And
That's
then
how I'll describe it.
you have Haley Kiyoko.
Yes.
She makes music now too,
Icon.
right? Yes.
Icon. She makes great music.
Hmm.
Love her music. And then Bridget Mendler went on to make great music because I don't know if you
Oh,
saw like about a couple months ago, a part of her like EP that she did like blew up on TikTok, and people were like, "Who's this R&B singer?"
I
And then
and you're like,
they
huh?
didn't have any. They
Right.
had no idea it was Bridget Mendler. They're like, "This is Bridget Mendler of Good Luck Charlie."
How do you not?
So
Yeah,
yeah, what can't she do really?
yeah.
Fun fact: I actually saw her in concert once.
Really?
Story for the pod. Yeah, yeah. I went to
Oh,
Q102, not to give away where we are, but our local station always has this concert called Jingle Ball around
oh yes,
Christmas time.
yeah.
And that year she was I forget what year it was. I want to say I'm trying to see because actually the headliner of that year that I went was actually Justin Bieber, which is hilarious in retrospect.
Justin Bieber.
But yeah, but it was like purple swoopy hair, like that era. I think he was just coming out of like that era of Justin Bieber.
Yes.
But let me just get the actual year because she was like the first person that came up. 2012. It was
2012. Yes,
2012. So
she.
December of 2012. And she was like the first opener. She sang like two songs, but I swear me and my friends were like the hype is there. We were like screaming.
And no one appreciates it, but this era of Disney, she owned it.
Yeah, she
And so,
really did.
like, when you're screaming and everyone else is like, eh.
Yeah, I mean it was like clear that everybody was there for like Justin Bieber and like the other people,
Oh, yeah.
and we were there for him too. But we were hype when she came out. We were like, Bridget Mendler, what? Like I don't
What?
think we even
Yeah.
knew that she was on like the set list, I
Uh
don't
huh.
think. And then she was like the first person to come out and we were like, "Wait, what?" But
Yeah,
yeah,
she owned
she was good
Disney.
live from what I
Yes.
remember. She did.
Hmm.
Good Luck Charlie was a great show.
I loved Go
I
Luck
would go back
Charlie.
and watch Good Luck Charlie today. It has like the same like good humor that like
Yes.
Raven and like Sweet Life had,
Hmm.
even though it was like a little later. So I don't know if they just recycled some of their good writers there, but
And
of
I
that
feel like
era
it
was
touches
it
on good
stood out.
topics.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
movie does too. Because do you remember the whole premise of it?
Remind me, since
So
this
obviously,
isn't something I've had to rewatch.
yeah, they're all high school students. They all get detention. They
Mhm.
all form a band. But if you watch like the very end of the movie, it's basically she's writing a letter to her dad who's in prison, and she's like
Yeah.
telling him all of like how Lemonade Mouth became Lemonade Mouth,
Mhm.
which is pretty deep. And then you have the story. Obviously, her mom died, I think, so she
Yeah, I
lived with,
remember. Now I'm thinking about it. It got really deep
yeah, and her
and
mom,
getting
like she
expressive.
lived with her grandmom.
Mhm.
And then the guy that she likes, like the redheaded guy, Adam Hicks,
Mhm.
he lived with his dad, who was dating someone that was like twice as young as the dad was. So she was like super young. So
Mhm.
that was really awkward. And then obviously Naomi Scott's character comes from a very traditional Indian family, so that's hard. And
Mhm.
then like the other character, he has like this brother who's a superstar, a soccer player that does all these great things. Like everyone has their own kind of storyline. It's a really good movie.
It is. Do you have a favorite song
Oh yes.
from the soundtrack?
Um hmm. Determinate's always the classic.
I was gonna say The Terminate's probably mine.
I do like Determinate,
It's so
but I
catchy.
also like More Than a Band. Because that's when like they all go over, like obviously her mom had passed and she lives with her grandmom. And then the only thing that she has left of her mom is this cat that's like really old.
Mhm.
and then the cat passes away, and
Oh.
so like the guy that she likes comes over, but then he brings everybody else over to like comfort her, and they're all singing, and then they all kind of share like their stories, and I'm like, oh, but Determinate's a fun dance song.
It is. It's iconic. And I just remember like there's all of these like scenes of them like performing in like a pizza shop. I
Yes,
remember that.
yep.
Yeah.
And then there was
And
the
that's where
scene.
they start out.
Yes, and I remember the one scene where I forget. Olivia is Bridget Miller's character, and she was like nervous to perform at the Halloween bash where they did Terminate, but she was in the bathroom and she was so nervous, and all the other girls are in there, and then the boys ended up coming in the bathroom and they're like trying to talk to her, trying to get her to like be all right to perform, and she like can't do it, and then
Mhm.
all that happens is the redhead like slips her a lemonade, and then nothing happens. Like slips her in lemonade underneath like the bathroom stall. You don't hear anything for like 10 seconds, and then you just hear the click of like the can opening. And then she comes out and she's like, "All right, I'm good." And you're like, "Really?"
Sometimes that's all you need.
It's just a fresh, cold lemonade from a can.
Well, wasn't that the whole thing they were like pushing? They were like they had this like drink like vending machine.
Yeah, they had down in detention.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
vending machine at the end of the hall that only dispensed like this lemonade.
Right.
And so that's how that whole thing became about. And then they're trying to get rid of the lemonade because it was outdated. And that caused like a whole scene. But then at the end,
That sounds like a school to have outdated drinks
yes.
in their school
So you're
and try
really
to
drinking like
here, drink
spoiled,
this expired,
yeah,
right?
probably like 20 years ago, because schools never do anything.
Oh
So it's
god.
probably
Yeah.
like super expired. But at the very end, when I think, or Ren or whatever, his
Mhm.
dad is getting married to the young lady. And I think it's Haley Kyoko's character is sitting next to this guy at the wedding, and it turns out that's the guy that makes the lemonade.
Yeah.
And you're like, why was this like a
Why did you
thing?
do a full circle like that?
But then, like, obviously, she starts talking to him, and
Mhm.
now he gave like a shit ton of money for the school to build like a brand new auditorium. It's wild. Some of the scenes in like all these Disney movies.
Yeah, not to say that they do kind of like the same things now, but there's just some like even going back like not even that far to Lemonade Mouth, there's things that they do in that that I just don't think they would do now.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
don't know, like kids things have like kids media, I feel
oh
like
yeah,
has become like very like muted and kind of
yes,
like the same. And a lot of times it's like kids aren't even like watching those channels anymore. I
no,
feel like is what it comes down
because
to.
everything's on Disney Plus, and all the
Right.
streaming services. I don't have
True.
cable because I don't feel like paying for it.
No. But then, like, it's wild because like, now we have all these, like, streaming services that, like, add up to cable in
Yes,
a weird way, so I
uh,
don't know.
yes.
I don't know what my tangent there was about, but, yeah, anything else you wanna say about Lemonade Mouth?
I would say if you haven't watched it, it's definitely a great one to watch.
Mhm,
Like out of all
and I
the
second
ones
that.
out of the more recent years, this is probably my favorite I've
Probably like
watched.
that and, like, probably of the recent years, the only ones that I've seen that have been like, "Oh, this is good," is, that and Descendants.
Yes,
Yeah,
all
so,
three. I could go on a whole episode just on those three movies alone. They're
yeah,
so good. It's well
yeah,
written, good casting.
true. It's an interesting
Yes,
concept
it's based off
too, it's like
books too, called The Eye of the Lost,
oh, okay.
where it's the
Okay.
same concept of like they're children of the bad guys. Um,
True.
so what's your final pick?
Well, I was about to say, speaking of being in singing groups and being in school together, I have the iconic girl group that
Ah,
formed in this movie, the
yes,
Cheetah Girls. Oh my
cheetah
god.
girls, cheetahs. Yes,
Yes.
I had to
You're
rewatch
the
this.
you're the fifth Cheetah Girl? That's crazy. No,
My
I'm kidding.
God, What would my name be as a cheetah girl? Because when you look, they're all named really weird. Like,
Mhm.
well, I
Mhm.
guess mainly they're nicknames.
Yeah,
Most of
yeah,
them.
because then they do have their full names, which yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is also based on a book series. So, and I think there's actually like an additional member that you don't hear about. I believe that Aqua has a sister in the books, which is
Huh.
kind of wild. Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
I don't know why they choose to change it, but yeah, so if we don't know about this, we have to read a
Oh
description
yes,
for it.
read the lovely description. See what it says.
Yeah. If you are somehow listening to this and have never seen the Cheetah Girls, which
What are you doing
blasphemy
with
in
your life?
itself, really.
Yeah. Get
Okay,
with it.
this is see that I think with a lot of them they just condense. It seems like the ones that are more popular, they condense the synopsis of them, but
Yeah.
get a clue, they literally had like a giant
Yeah, they
paragraph.
had a massive paragraph of like
Like, it's like,
awesomeness,
why
and
am I
then
still reading?
yeah.
Why am I still reading? But in a nutshell, they say that this movie is lighthearted, amusing, and childlike. I'm like, okay.
I
I'm sorry,
mean,
but I'm like, going into my 30s and I'm
lighthearted.
gonna
I
watch
don't
this movie
think.
at
I
least
don't think.
once every year.
Clearly, they haven't watched it.
No, no. I mean, amusing and childlike, I guess, but like yeah,
Lighthearted?
lighthearted. I
No,
don't know. I
no.
don't know. I don't
Absolutely
know.
not.
Let me read the description. 14s hold on to their dream of musical fame while navigating the twists and turns of their
Well,
normal lives.
I mean, I guess they're
Twists
not
and
wrong,
turns. So there's
but
twists
the
and
way they say
turns
twists and
include
turns, like
right. It's like they're talking about like an antic after school, like,
yes, as if
oh,
like
I
it's not their
can't
daily
finish
lives
my
that they
homework
deal
or
with.
something.
Yeah,
Right.
I
They
feel
said
like
normal lives at the end too.
I feel
So.
like this is probably one of the earlier movies that actually have deep storylines attached
Mhm.
to the characters,
Yep.
from what I can
Yep.
remember.
Yeah, so let's just name our tutor girls. So we have Raven,
Yes,
who is
Galleria.
Galleria.
Yeah,
We have Adrienne Bailon, who is Chanel.
yes.
We have, oh my god, Keely Williams as
Oh,
Aqua,
and then
and then Sabrina
Sabrina.
Bryan
Yeah,
as Dorinda.
yes.
Yeah.
Who was
And
your
that's their
favorite?
I it was probably because of bias because of the color, but Chanel was purple. It's always
Yes,
my favorite. And
probably. I would.
honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of like sympathize with her. Like, I feel like if I was in the group, that's who I would kind of be like. Like, I wouldn't be the leader, but I'd be kind of like next to the leader and kind of like
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I would
being the
be
voice
too.
of
Yeah,
reason,
and I'd be
a
too
little
afraid to
bit.
speak up. And I feel like
Yeah.
she was kind of afraid to speak up because Gallery is her best friend. So
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
you
So
don't want to say
I
anything that's going to hurt her feelings. So you're kind of like, I'll let her do whatever. But then you have
yeah.
the other two girls who are correct in saying that she's being a bit too much.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah. I
did
mean,
get.
there was drama in this friend group.
Oh, I got so annoyed with Raven Simone
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
during that movie for right reasons. Like
Yeah.
she did take over
Yeah. They
too
did really
much.
make her like this was kind of like she was kind of like the Sharpay like blueprint a little bit,
Yes,
you know? That kind of like just the way her character was.
and then she was in the second one, but she wasn't in the third one.
No, and
And
that was because of like we you can look that up to the extent there was actual like
oh,
drama
really?
with them.
I just know they
Mhm.
made it. Didn't they make her like go to college or something?
What do you
That was
mean?
like their
Like,
plot line of like why she's not going to be in the third one.
oh, and the third one.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like IRL. They were
Oh
like
no,
Raven go
no. I think she's an adult and can make her own choices.
right. I had to say easily by then they were probably adults by the time like I don't know after like the second one came out like
Yes.
first I don't even know they definitely looked like the first one they kind of look age appropriate.
Yes.
The second one there's a jump there
Oh,
for
there.
sure,
Yep.
and I guess it's because well the let me see if I can look
I
up
mean, you do get
what do you guess the when do you guess the first one came out, what year?
definitely early on. I don't think it's as early as Get a Clue. Maybe like 2004.
Mm,
Close.
3 2003.
Yeah. Okay.
2003. And then let me see when in comparison, when the second one came out, because I think it was a jump.
Probably.
It was 3 years.
Okay,
So I
so
guess
that yeah.
that makes a difference when you're on Disney Channel. You
Yeah.
definitely grow up a lot in 3 years.
Oh yeah. Who'd you feel the worst for? Like who broke your heart the most?
I mean, when you think it's obvious when, I guess you look at this when you think realistically about their situation, it would probably be, I guess, Dorinda that would
Yeah.
be going through it the most. Because here's the thing, we don't even get nothing about Aqua. We
Yeah,
have
what is
no
she
idea what's
the
going
only
on.
thing I know about her is that she doesn't like taking the subway. She
Yeah,
like
and they don't
complained the
even.
entire
And I'm
movie about
pretty
having to
sure
take
if
the
you look,
subway.
well, this is the whole thing. I think in the book, I've listened to like other people like talk about this movie on like podcasts and like YouTube essays and everything. And I think they say like she gets a lot more in the book. And I don't know why they just chose to like cut it out and just not use it. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know, but we don't. I guess I can't really like put her into the mix because like we don't know anything about her
Yeah.
like at all.
Yeah,
Just
they
like she
didn't
said, like, "Ah, I hate
say.
taking the subway," and that's it.
Yeah, you
We never
do.
see her
Yeah.
family,
I don't think you hear
but
anything about her.
no, I don't think you see, like, I don't think
No.
they even come to, like, the talent show. I don't think you see anybody,
Nope.
like, in regards
She
to
doesn't
her
have any
family.
parents that stop by.
Mm-mm, no. You never see them, like, picking her up from, like, somebody's house or
Yeah.
anything, so I don't know. I don't know, so I guess then we can just consider the 3, and
I
really, if
guess
you wanna
so.
put it in, like, a tier system, I guess Dorinda realistically has, like, the
Yeah.
most to deal with.
And then I
Like,
would
she's not in
say
this.
probably Chanel,
Yeah, because Chanel is just dealing with a lot of, like, coming
parental.
home to an empty house,
At least
lonely,
like
you know?
Galleria had two parents. As
True.
strict as they were, they did love her.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
like I do think that Chanel's mom did love her,
Mhm.
but I think being that single parent and then I don't know, just her going out with all those guys all the time, just leaving her
Yeah,
daughter
but I mean, it
home.
was always, like, I remember, like, she always had, like, good intentions, though. She was like, "Oh, this guy's rich, and we're gonna get a better
Yeah. It
place," and
wasn't like I'm trying to
meanwhile
screw you over.
no, no,
No.
she was just thinking about, like, I don't know if her mom was just, like, straight up, like, dating people or just literally, like, trying to find somebody with, like, money so that they could get a better
Both.
situation.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, though, they were in a pretty good situation
Yeah.
already. Did you
They
see the
didn't
apartment that
need
they live in? They were in a great apartment.
yeah, and the fact that her mom is like left her car and was like, "Go have fun."
Yeah,
Like good.
literally.
And then, but the whole thing was she got pissed off that Chanel used up all of her money. Did you
Yeah.
did you not tell her to go have fun?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Chanel's in what, are they in high school or middle school? I think they're middle schoolers, aren't they?
It
Supposed
says
to be? And then they
14, so maybe
14,
no,
like
maybe like freshman, like that
freshmen.
young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you tell a freshman girl, if you give her a credit card and you say,
Go have
"You're
fun.
go have fun," she's not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna buy like one thing."
Especially when it's somebody who's very fashion forward.
Right.
They're gonna
Exactly.
they're gonna spend their money.
Right.
Like if you tell me to go have fun and give me your card, like I'm not gonna spend it the way she does.
Mhm.
But you have to
Yeah.
expect her to spend a lot of money.
Exactly.
And then they had the whole fight of
And
like
then she
the
was and then she was like upset, and then it was like, well, maybe don't leave your card with your kid.
yeah,
I don't know.
you're upset about it, but you're the one that said like, "Oh, I'm out with this French guy again. Like, go take my card, go take my money."
Mhm.
So a
I just
75%
remember.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really. Okay.
That's too low.
It is. Should be 100%.
Yeah.
Well, see, they all have like their long like actual names, and then when I'm looking on the Wikipedia page right now, like it says Galleria, and then it has their nicknames in like quotes. So Galleria's nickname is Bubbles,
Nice.
and Chanel's nickname is Chuchi, which I
Yep.
remember because they would say it, like when they were like having like sleepovers, they'd be like, "I love you, Bubbles. I love you, Chuchi." Like
Yes.
that's what they would call
Yes.
each other. And then obviously Aquanetta was Aqua,
Oh
and
yeah.
then Dorinda they would call her Doe. So
Yes.
that's their. nicknames. But yeah, it got really, really deep. Like this the scene that literally I could probably get choked up just thinking about it now. The scene when Chanel finds out Dorinda's living
Yes.
situation, and then she is embarrassed. And then
Oh,
Chanel just holds
yeah.
her, and then Chanel just holds her, and she goes, "You're a cheater girl because of who you are and what's
Not
in your
yeah, not
heart."
because of what you have.
Right?
Oh, it's
I'm
so
literally getting choked up thinking about
and
it.
then she was like, "And I bought this because I know some one of the cheater girls gotta wear it." And then she gives her, like, the really expensive outfit, and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah,
Like,
isn't that
you
something that
didn't
you
buy
got with the
that.
mom's card,
Yeah,
right?
and you didn't buy that for yourself. You bought it like, you bought it for yourself. You didn't buy it for her, and
Yeah,
you went out of your way to do that, and I was like, "Oh." But that whole
yeah.
scene.
Because she knew at that moment that she needed it more than she did,
Yeah.
Just like a little something like, "Here's something," because she remember her one, like, point that she kept saying to her is like, "I don't have anything nice to wear," and then she's
Yeah.
like, "Well, now you do." And I'm like,
No, you
"Oh god,
yes.
okay."
And I love when her foster mom comes to see her at, like,
Mhm,
the, I guess, town show or whatever,
mhm.
and Gallery's mom is like, "Oh, good, finally, like, another cheetah mom," and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, just the instant
yes.
acceptance, and it's a shame because that probably could have happened way sooner if she
Oh,
wasn't
yeah."
afraid of, like, sharing that with them,
But I
you know?
guess when you're in a group of people that seem like they have everything,
Mhm.
it is kinda
She
hard
felt
to.
like an outsider.
Yeah.
She felt like an
And,
outsider.
obviously, she doesn't know that they also have things going on in their lives.
Right, 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 exactly. But
Also
it's also your age too, like, I feel like if she was, like, older, she
oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
it's the young like, you know what I mean? If I was her age and that was
I'd
my
probably
situation, I'd probably be
I probably wouldn't tell anyone.
yeah, yeah,
Very slight people.
yeah, but then that's why it's good that she has her cheetah girls.
Yes.
They're
Also
great, they're great friends. They're great friends,
yes.
and I love how like, just the end of the movie, how they just resolve it all with the
Oh,
singing number.
yes. With the dog getting
Classic Disney.
yes, when the dog gets stuck.
And they have to sing to get him out. Oh,
Wait, I love how, like,
it
they're
gets
all
me every time though. I'm like, that's when it takes me out of it a little bit. When they're
yes.
like, "We have to sing to get Toto out of the hole." I'm like, "What
Oh
do
my god,
you mean?"
and the fact that she literally named her dog Toto.
Mhm,
And I
mhm,
just remember being like, "Are they gonna get it out?" And then she starts singing, and
mhm,
then they all start singing, and that gets the dog out. I'm like, back then,
mhm.
yeah, that got me. Now I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, it's
yeah,
it's cheesy. But
yeah.
also, when they're all come running, so obviously Chanel comes from like the hair salon, but then
Mhm.
Aqua comes and Galleria's looking around like, how'd she get here? And she's like, took the subway.
He's like, "You
I
took the
for
subway from
me,
me."
and she's like, I did. I mean, no, I did it for Toto. And you're like, oh,
Oh.
and you're like, oh
Oh,
well.
man.
And also, so the
Mhm.
teacher's name, and I didn't realize this is her last name until I googled it. But obviously, the
Yeah.
music teacher's first name is Drinka.
Mhm.
Do you remember what her?
Yeah.
Do you know what her last name is?
No. No.
It's
What is it?
Champagne.
Drink a champagne. That's great. Oh,
So
wait. You know what? Actually, there is, like, a great fact that I didn't know about this. The actress that plays Drinka is trans. I didn't know
really,
that. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I
no
think that's, like,
way.
her, like, name. Drinka champagne. Like, would that make sense now that she, like, made
Yes.
that name?
Oh yeah, it says transition in her early 20s. She
Yeah, and
transitioned
I'm like, how
publicly
ironic,
as a
because
woman.
Drinka was everything. I remember watching that and being like, "Oh my god, I would like
Oh, it
Drinka." She was
says
cool.
so she was supported by her mother and a couple of friends, and then received the affirming hormone therapy. And then she said later described the transition as giving her a lot of joy and also relief. Oh,
Good for you,
I
Drinka.
know. Good. Good
That's
for you
awesome
for.
though for them. No, but that's forward for Disney to do
Oh
that back
yeah,
in the early 2000s. That's really
because there
good.
was
Like when I found
nothing.
that out like later on, no, there was no representation at all.
No.
Please.
And the
No, no.
only time I remember
I don't know if there
representation,
is
like
now with Disney if
the
I'm being
only thing I
honest.
remember now, or somewhat now, is there was an episode of Good Luck Charlie
Mhm.
where I guess I don't know if it was Charlie's friend that was coming over, but Charlie's friend had two moms.
Right, right. I
And
think it
that
was
was like the
their
only
neighbors or
yeah.
something. was like two moms. And then I remember there is another show. I never watched it, but I have a friend told me about it. This show called Ally Mac.
Oh, Andy
That's more
Mack,
like
yes.
recent.
What
Andy Mac,
do
Ally
you
Mac. I don't know
know?
where I got that from.
Do you
Sorry,
know what
Andy
it's
Mac.
based off of?
No, I do
So
not.
the whole storyline is she's being raised by her grandmother, but she doesn't know it's her grandmother. She thinks it's like her mom.
Oh,
And then she thinks that she has a sister that's like never around. Turns out that
mm.
sister is actually her mom, and her mom's her grandmother.
Oh, that's
But
wild.
it's based off of a true story, based off of Jack Nicholson's life.
Wait, what? You cut off there?
Oh, it's based off of Jack Nicholson.
Wait, what?
His life,
Really?
yeah. So I think it's Jack Nicholson. Um, I'm pretty
That's
sure it was
wild.
him.
You said it's called Andy Mac,
Andy Mack. Yeah, Andi.
based off.
Um,
Yeah, you're right. Jack Nicholson.
yeah, as yeah, she was 17 and I'm married. So his mom's parents agreed to raise him as their own child without revealing what actually was happening. So they just acted as if that was his sister. And then he realized later in life that his sister was his mother.
That is such a wild, like, origin though of
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, what is this show based off of? Oh, Jack Nicholson's life. What?
And you're like, huh? And then when you read into
What?
it, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
And I
imagine
thought you were
going
gonna say
through,
because there's this, yeah, there's a movie that he's in where there's like it's I think it's called Chinatown. I thought you were referencing the movie because there's like a girl that's like she's my sister, she's my daughter, she's my. I thought it was that, but it's
no,
no,
it's
it's his
his own life.
actual
Yep.
life. That's crazy.
Imagine growing up thinking,
In that situation,
yeah.
that's
And then
crazy.
so, like, in Andy Mack, her sister comes home, or her mom, or whatever, comes home
Mhm.
from wherever. And
Mhm.
then I guess she can either she finds some, like, photos or something, or she hears them arguing, but somehow she finds out that it's actually her sister is her mom.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's that is wild. I kind of want to watch that show, but I that I know. Again, I clearly don't know the details because I didn't know of this
Yes.
origin story, but I know that there is a character that's gay on that show.
Yeah, and I think I sort of remember it because, like, I watched a good chunk of it, and it was pretty good. But I think it was like the one best friend of the two girls ends
Mhm.
up coming out as gay. And then I think someone in High School Musical, the musical, the series, is gay, but they're like openly gay. So now I
Wasn't the
think
character of Ryan like in High School Musical like made out to be canonically gay, but they said they
they
couldn't do
never,
it? Like,
yeah, they could never say it out loud. But we all
yeah.
know, first of all,
Mhm.
how many hats does he
How many?
have? Like,
The
no
hats should
one,
have
and
been.
it's the same, almost the same type of hat the entire movie. He's wearing tight pants. Like, his shirts have some sort of pattern on them every movie. And I remember in High
They
School
were making
Musical,
when you fashion forward,
yeah.
fashion
And
forward.
and then do you remember in I don't know if they still do this now, but back then they did um like they would show the movies again, but they would tell you, I guess, like secrets of the movies and fun facts, and they would have it
Mhm.
like pop up on the screen while the movies were going on. You remember that?
Mhm. Yeah.
In High School Musical, I think it maybe was the first one or the second one, where they literally had a hat counter, and it would, like, every time he changed hats, it would count how many he had. And I just can't. I now gotta look it up.
Icon. Iconic.
Yes.
How do we get to here?
Uh,
Cheetah
so
Girl.
in High School Musical, Ryan wears a
Mhm.
total of 9 hats throughout the entire
9
movie.
hats.
In High School Musical
Could argue
2,
that that's like 7 too many.
yeah. And guess how many in the second one?
He said 9 in the first one.
Yeah.
Second one's gotta be like double at least. He had a lot of hats in that movie.
Yeah, 12 or 13.
12 or 13.
It seems he
Again,
might change hats every scene. He did. At least in the second one, I do remember him changing hats a lot.
yeah.
Uh,
I
and
mean,
I don't know why.
yeah.
But they did say, like, they never openly said he was gay, but there was clear indications in every High School Musical movie that he was.
Yeah, well, it was just because if it would come out now, they would have no. It was just the time
Oh
it was
yeah.
in, you know? But speaking of things that I don't know why they did, the only thing of this movie that I guess I just get annoyed when that whole portion of this movie happens is the villain-esque music producer guy.
Yeah,
Sheeta Jackal Johnson.
Jackal
That name
Johnson.
that name alone.
Why they really went, like, they tried so hard to make that sound like a
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at him, did you
Yeah,
see like his look in the
yeah.
He basically looks like if you plucked him out of like an In Sync
That's what I was gonna
type
say. He
thing.
looks like that one guy from NSYNC with like the spiked hair and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then
Uh,
he first of all, in that movie he was trying to say, "Oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and then you'll have billions."
mhm.
And then the mom was like cautious, and all the girls were like, "It's fine. Like you didn't hear he said billions." It's like never
And
trust
it's like no,
someone. Never trust someone that's gonna say right away that you're gonna make millions. No.
I also think just never trust someone named Jackal. That just doesn't sound
Yeah,
like
if you
that
have
sounds like
Jackal in your name, absolutely not. If you look like
it's just
you came out of an NSYNC music video, don't trust that guy. Absolutely not.
but I
I
just like the whole I'm pretty sure in this movie he's got like the whole get up of In Sync. He's got he's wearing sunglasses the whole time, multiple
yes.
chains. They
Yep.
just really tried to keep up.
Because I guess
Like,
well that movie came out in like what did we say, 2003?
well, I mean that was In
But
Sync
like
was still around.
yes. Yes.
Oh,
So my last pick is
oh
great.
yeah,
It's great for the holiday coming up if you celebrate
festive.
it. If you're Irish, if you're not, and you just like drinking, because
It's
that's
it's basically what that's all it's become.
yeah.
I don't think there's any. I don't know of any well, I mean St. Patrick, but people just drink. That
I
seems
don't
to
know
be the
why drinking is heavy on St. Patrick's Day, but it just
yeah. I don't know
seems
where
like
the
that's a huge for this holiday in particular. It's just heavy on the drinking. Don't know why,
yeah yeah.
but this is
What's your last
probably. I'm
pick?
assuming this is probably the only movie that's surrounding this holiday
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, at
on
least the
Disney
only
Channel.
Disney movie because there is
There is
horror
other.
movies based off of
Now looking
the
back,
mythical beings in this movie.
yes, but The Luck of the Irish. It's an
Mm-hmm.
OG, one
Classic.
of like the OG classics. I feel like.
Yeah, starring that guy that's in a bunch of Disney Channel stuff, and I
He
can't
was
think of
in.
his
Do
name.
you
But he,
remember Smart House?
yeah, he is the
Yep.
kid from Smart House. For some reason, I thought he was the same. There's a whole other person I'm thinking of. Do you remember the movie where the kid turns into the mermaid?
Yes, the
I thought
13th
this was
year.
the same kid. It's not.
Nope.
There's more than one. This is the Smart House kid.
Yes, and he was also his name's Ryan something. He was also one of the bad guys in Pretty Little Liars.
Really
Yep.
interesting. I
But
gotta watch more than one episode of that show
oh, we
because
can
I watched
go.
one episode
We
and then.
could have so many episode hours on this because
Hmm.
there's 7 or 8 seasons. It's great.
Maybe we could do a bit where you ask me to watch an episode and then I report back on
Oh,
what I saw.
I no, we're doing this on Glee because Glee has some.
Oh, Glee. Okay.
Oh God! But guess when The Luck of the Irish came out?
The Irish probably. It's gotta be in that range. I want to say 2002. That's my guess.
close. 2001.
Oh, okay, even
Yes.
earlier. Okay. That's probably the earliest one out of the picks that we had,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Um.
So you want to give a little
Yes.
quick little synopsis?
Again, a teenager, in parentheses, Ryan Merriman. So his name in this movie is Kyle. A teenager, Kyle, must battle for a gold charm to keep his family from being controlled by an evil leprechaun.
You know, classic family curse
Yes.
Disney bit.
And then it says sport/drama as the, like, when
They
description.
finally put the drama in there.
Eh,
I think Get a Clue needed that too, but like
I guess not.
they were like, nah, they're cool. It's like Spy Kids. It's like it's action.
It's, but they say evil leprechaun. Like, he's not that
Is this
evil.
the only one that we picked that doesn't have? No, I had Get a Clue. That doesn't have music. I was about to say this is
Yeah, this
your
one doesn't have music.
non-music pick. This is your non-music
Yes.
pick, and Get a Clue was mine.
I honestly, this is one of those ones that I just remember watching
Hmm.
every March.
Yeah,
Like, it's a
because they would
classic,
probably
old
push it and play it
school. Oh,
around.
yeah. And then, did you rewatch this one?
I did. I did.
What
It
did
was
you think?
pretty. It was pretty wild.
It's great. Like,
It was funny. Like it was genuinely got laughs. Like the when he walks into the kitchen and he just hears
yes,
his mom, but he doesn't see her, and then you
yes.
realize
She's the
she's the
leprechaun, so she
leprechaun.
shrunk. And then
I
he was
loved it.
like,
I did
wait,
not.
am I going to shrink that size? And the dad's like, you've got like a few hours. You're only half leprechaun.
No, and I knew I didn't know exactly when it was gonna show up, but I loved how before the mom actually shrank into the leprechaun, how they were so weird about like where they
Yes.
came from. Isn't he doing like a project for
Yes,
school
it
or
was like
something?
a
He's like, I have to know
heritage.
where I came from. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
heritage project. Because they have to know where I came from, and they're like,
Cleveland.
dinner's
Cleveland.
almost ready. Like,
Yeah, and then he was like, but like, where do we come? Cleveland. Right, but like, where's
Cleveland.
our heritage? Cleveland. And you're like, but to
That made me
me,
laugh too. I was like,
but it's weird
Cleveland.
because, like, if that were me and I was asking like my family, hey, where do I like, what's my heritage? Where do I come from? And my mom's like, oh, you're Irish. I'd have been like, all right, I'll go
Yeah,
research Ireland. Like, I don't think
yeah.
he would have had any clue to think maybe my mom's a leprechaun.
That's the next possible.
That's my
That's.
first thought after my mom told me Ira's Irish. She's going to
I
shrink
guess
to the
I'm.
size of a peanut.
I guess I'm half leprechaun then.
I'm half leprechaun, and I'm half
Yeah,
whatever you would consider a pierogi. Half pierogi.
a pierogi.
Half
I
pierogi.
am half. I am half leprechaun and half pasta.
What's kind of pasta? That's the important.
Pasta. Mm,
I feel like you're
penne. I'm gonna say penne.
I feel like I'm a rotini pasta. Got a little squiggle in there.
I do like a fusilli, you know. So.
Yes. Or
Uh,
what's farfalle? The bow tie noodles? Those are fun.
the bow tie. Yeah,
Yes. This whole movie,
farfalle.
I
I'm pretty
yeah, it
sure that
was
can
one of those.
translate in certain languages to like butterfly. I think farfalle is like
Yeah,
butterfly.
I just didn't
If
get.
I'm wrong, sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look it up now.
I'm just gonna apologize every time. I'm just like, if that's wrong, sorry, Google
So, let's
for
see
me as well. I just
what
want
is
you
it?
to know.
Italian? Yeah, translate.
It's
Is
either
butterfly
that
one
or
word? Yeah, butterfly.
yes, yes.
I was typing things wrong. Let's see.
No, I feel that.
Italian. Yeah, farfalla is butterfly.
Okay, I thought.
That
See,
actually, when you
Duolingo.
look
I've
at it
I've
now, it does kind of make sense.
yeah.
Let's look.
See, I've completed a single Duolingo class for two.
I was hardcore on Duolingo and I was really trying, and then I got bored. But I was
There's
brushing up on my Spanish for a while.
the reminders are so threatening.
Oh, they're threatening.
They're like threatening, or either they're like, you made like I'll get an email from now. Like I still have the account, so like I can still it's still like on my phone, and I can still go into it anytime I wanted. But I think I had to turn like the notifications off because
Because
they were
they're
really stupid.
threatening.
Like they're stupid. Like, and then I would get like an email like every now and then and be like, "You made Duo sad." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
You're an inanimate bird. That's okay. No.
You ever see those social media for Duolingo?
Oh, is it bad?
It's great. Like they'll like comment on like random things. Like you really have to just look into it. I
Oh
can't
my.
describe it now. But every now and then I'll see like TikToks that have like a lot of like millions of views, and then I'll look in the comment and Duolingo will be like one of the people
Oh yeah.
commenting.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Wendy's Twitter.
Yeah. Well, ever since they like people like that are copywriters, like they just have gotten like jobs as like writing social media for like
Yes.
different brands, and they don't really like they tell them to just be like unhinged because that's what gets them
Oh yeah.
the attention for the brand. So like it just becomes more and more unhinged.
Yes. Also, in the Luck of the Irish, when he's
Hmm.
turning slowly into a leprechaun, obviously the ears get pointed, but then what
Hmm.
was with that hair? Like I know
Very red.
stereo or like typical Irish like leprechauns have like the bright orange hair, but it was like the
Hmm.
frosted tips, but like
It was
instead of
like it
blonde,
was
it
like
was
a
just orange frosted tips.
he was like rebellious teen leprechaun.
Yes.
Okay.
Evil leprechaun who? No.
Well, they were like, "Ooh, how are we gonna make this? Like, this is like the mid, like early 2000s. So like, he's gotta have spiky hair. We can't get rid of
I
spiky hair."
know. They gotta keep that. We'll just make it orange.
Well, that was like every like boy that was on Disney Channel had like either spiky hair or like really long hair. Like there was
Yes.
no in between. It
And
was either
then
like swoopy hair or like spiky hair.
the whole plot
Which
too,
in real life too, I guess.
obviously the
In real life, Disney
grandfather.
Channel's not real life. No,
I
it's,
mean, it
but it's like
practically
in real
is.
life.
Yes. And then in the Luck of the Irish, you have the grandfather who's the leprechaun.
Hmm.
He doesn't like, because there's got to be drama in this movie, right?
Hmm.
The
It's listed.
grandfather,
Google said it's a
it
drama.
says there, and there is. Because, listen, the grandfather doesn't speak to his daughter or his son in law because she
Hmm.
didn't marry a leprechaun. She married a human. And he was not okay with that. And so he like refused to talk to his daughter, refused to talk to the brother-in-law, and then they needed his help to get the lucky coin back. Well, they thought it was the grandfather that took it, so they broke into like his potato factory.
Yeah, I remember that. And because he had to wear the I remember because he's like mid changing into a leprechaun. So at this point, he just like for half of like this the movie, he just dons like a bucket hat to like
Yes.
cover
And then
his
his
like
pants were not
ears.
fitting, so he would be running, and like you would see in
Yeah,
certain scenes, he would just lift up his pants when he was running.
right,
But
right, because he was getting smaller.
yeah, and then they accused the grandfather of stealing the
Hmm.
lucky coin because he's pissed off that his daughter married a non leprechaun. Turns out
Yeah,
it wasn't the grandfather, it was somebody else. Um named
there's layers to this plot.
Seamus something or other. Very Irish name. And then
We could just say he's Seamus. There might
Seamus.
not be if there unless there's more than one Seamus, we don't have to worry about.
I forget what his last name is, but it was very Irish. It was like Seamus something.
Seamus McIrish. That's why I'm gonna
Yes.
give him that name.
And then
Seamus McIrish.
the mom's last name is O'Reilly. So that's very Irish.
I
And
thought
then,
of
but
the
oh,
commercial.
O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly.
Yes.
My monkey brains. My monkey commercial brain.
Honestly, that's how my brain operates daily.
That's advertising works. That's
Yes.
just proof that advertising works.
So out of,
I might not be able to tell you what I learned in school, but I can tell you jingles for like
oh
O'Reilly.
yeah, or like J.G. Wentworth jingle. Oh yes,
Oh my god. Mhm. Well, that just recently resurfaced because all those Super Bowl memes,
yes.
like Travis Kelsey, like yelling.
Oh god, yep. So
Uh,
out of all of the 6 movies,
Mhm.
from today. What would
Yeah.
you what would you say is your number one?
Well, out of my picks that I had, honestly, out of all of them, Cheetah Girls might be the top for me because I think it's probably the one that I've seen the most, and it's probably the one that I can just like, no matter what, I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Any like, I don't have to be like, like it's just, it's a treat every time.
Yes.
It's a treat every time,
I would say
and
I don't know.
there's so many of them.
I would
So
say it's a
this is
tie.
hard.
I would say it's a
We
tie
changed our picks multiple times too,
because there's
just
so
for
many.
reference.
We're gonna have a second episode of this
We can do a
because
part two.
there's yeah,
Hey,
we're
we can
definitely
do a
gonna have
part
to do
two.
a part two because there's so many. But I would
We're gonna have to
say,
do one for the series. I know
oh
that.
yeah, I would say it's a tie for me between High School Musical
Hmm.
2 and Lemonade Mouth. But
Yeah.
like High School Musical 2, I was obsessed and still am with Zac Efron. Pretty sure I've seen every movie he's been in since he started on Disney.
You would call
I will.
yourself a stan?
I am.
A stan? Yes.
Yes.
You've always been. You've always been.
Oh, I've seen. I haven't seen any movies prior to Disney Channel, but like anything after that, I'm
I
pretty
didn't even know
sure.
that he did anything prior to Disney Channel.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
think
he
it
like
was
on
in
like a
like.
show, like a TV show?
I think so.
Like Seventh Heaven or something like that. I want to say
Oh,
he was
that was a
in
good
one of
show.
those shows.
I think. Yeah, the
What
only
I could be
movie.
wrong, but I feel like he was in a show similar to that before Disney.
Yes,
That's the only thing I
probably.
knew that he did before Disney.
And so the only one I know I haven't seen is the one where he was the DJ because that just looked awful.
I actually watched that.
Oh, was it?
I
It was
actually
bad, wasn't it?
it was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
And then I haven't seen the Iron Claw yet,
No, I haven't either.
but I want to see that one. But
Yeah,
the
raving
DJ
reviews.
one, I was
It
like,
looks good.
absolutely not.
And I'm an A24 girly, so
Yes.
very good.
Okay.
Oh.
So I have, because the last episode when we ended, I shared a
Mhm.
very lovely Facebook status. And I have
Oh, right. This
saved,
is
I
right. We were
say,
going to continue
yes.
doing this.
And I have,
Let me get ready now.
I
Sorry, I
have
keep cutting you off.
I have three saved so far.
Oh God.
And this is because I check daily and they're all horrible. Um,
But that's why we love them.
should I go in order or should I randomly pick one?
You can randomly pick one because I'm gonna bring up my memories right now
Okay.
too, and then just randomly
I'll
pick
go
one.
with this. So 13 years ago, 2011. So sophomore year maybe. Sophomore year I think of high school, maybe into junior year. I have a quote. I want you all to, listen because I think you can all learn from this one. Um, think outside the quadrilateral parallelogram.
What?
Instead of saying think outside the box, I had to like go out of my way to say quadrilateral parallelogram. And I just want to say I got three
You
likes.
really thought you had them
I
there.
did. I got three likes. So
You had them there.
I did get them for that one. So if you ever need some words of encouragement,
Uh huh.
think
Think
outside.
outside the parallelogram.
Yeah, quadrilateral parallelogram.
Quadrilateral. You.
Yeah,
Why do I feel like it's like the same? They're two different things. I felt
yeah.
like isn't a parallelogram like I don't know. I
I
don't know.
just
Go
and
ahead. Go
again, like
first.
I said the last time, I thought I was the shit with my all my Facebook statuses. So a quadrilateral parallelogram is a rhombus.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
What a fun word.
Yeah, it looks like a rhombus, at least according
Mhm.
to. So not even a
Oh
square.
no.
Oh my god, who was I? Who let me do that?
Who was, who was I?
Oh, not no. I guess it is sort of like a rhombus, right? Yeah, that's what it is.
I know geometry was what I was better at than like algebra, but I
I was okay
still
at
would need a
algebra.
refresher for sure.
geometry I was bad at, but also I had a really bad teacher. Well, not a bad teacher, but he smelled awful. And so I always felt
Well,
really bad because I
it's going to be
never wanted,
distracting, you know?
and I never wanted to ask. Like, I felt, because in high school, when you asked the question, they would come over to your desk
Right.
and they'd be like leaning right next to you, like over your desk. And I never asked questions in that class because I was like, he's going to come over and help me, and he smells like shit, and I just can't. Do you,
Yeah.
do you have a good one to end off the episode?
Let me see. Oh, I have one where I would definitely change my opinion, and this is literally from me 12 years ago on March 3rd, 2012. I said, just tried sushi. It's I.
No, I
With
oh
IIGHTT.
no. Did you get any likes on it?
Yeah, 5.
5. Good for you.
Yeah, I know. But I would like to update that and say that sushi is very good. It's not
I
I. So I don't know what 2012 me was thinking.
I don't like fish, so I would have to agree with 2012 you.
Eh. No, but I kind of like I.
Yeah,
It's like okay.
it's all right.
So you're like meh.
I
Eh.
can eat vegetarian sushi, so it's all right.
Okay, that counts. But
Yeah.
yeah, just trying to. It's just the way that I had to put the use of I is just
Yes.
killing.
Because back then,
Um,
like, it was cool to say those things, and we thought we were cool. Um,
mhm.
so
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna. I'm trying to think if there's any other.
no,
Do you have any other?
you
Do you have
gotta.
any other memories?
Oh, I do, but I'm gonna save them.
Okay, so then 2012 me thought that sushi was I, but
And
I've
what was
I've,
it?
I've
2011
changed
me
my
wants
palate.
you to think outside the quadrilateral parallelogram.
Mhm.
It's great advice.
Mhm.
Clearly. Um,
Yeah. And the only other advice that I could say is,
Follow us.
if you don't know what any of these movies were that we were talking
Oh
about, you
no,
should watch
go and
them.
watch.
Come back, go and watch them, and then come back and get the content.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it
you can
will
appreciate
make
this
way
episode
more
even
sense,
more.
obviously, when you watch it. But you definitely should. Even if you don't watch these movies, just go back and watch like an old movie you haven't seen in a while. Get
Yeah,
your nostalgia on.
true.
Follow
Get
us on
your nostalgia on.
Instagram.
We're gonna have all the links in the description. I feel so
Hey,
cool saying
yes.
that.
Links. We have
So
one of
cool.
those link trees now. We're great. Follow Niall on TikTok. He has a
Mhm.
sister now.
Yes, he does. You are now a cat mom of 2.
Yes. I birthed
Just
her
crazy
myself.
how like randomly it happened. You were just like, "Oh,
Yes.
I'm thinking of taking her." You're like, "Yeah, she's. I took her. I think she's helping me
Well,
out."
yeah. There's a lady at work that fosters like bottle babies and stuff. Little
Mhm.
tiny kitten. She fostered her from basically birth because I guess the
Yeah.
mom probably died or something.
Oh.
So it was like this kitten and I think 2 other kittens, and she just fostered them. And so 3 months old, and I kept seeing her every morning when I would go into work. And I was like, she's really cute, but like, I don't want a second cat. But then a lot of people at work were saying Niall would benefit from having a second cat, someone that he can play with so he's not always bothering you and getting in your way. And it's just always good to have a second cat for like your first one. But I kept
Mhm.
seeing her, and then I was asking her at work, I'm like, oh, when did they go up for adoption? She's like, well, they're getting spayed today, so tomorrow. And
You're
I
like,
was
"Oh,
like,
that was
well,
fast."
I have a day to decide. So I was like, okay, I'll slack her and just say like, it's a probable like yes. Well, I'll let you
Yep.
know. And the next day I was like,
Yep.
I have to take her. So
Yeah.
welcome to the fam, sticks. Yay.
Yes.
Woo.
You're cutie. And I still
Yes.
have to meet both of your cats. So
Yes.
we'll have to buy the High School Musical game. We'll have to have game night. Get everybody
Yes.
over.
Yes.
See, comes full circle.
Yes.
DCOM energy.
DCOM energy. Niall has DCOM energy.
What do
He,
you mean?
I just feel like he just has like Just the energy.
Why do I feel like the energy between him and Sticks is like she's like the new kid in town, and then he comes over like, "How you doing, new kid?"
Yes.
You know?
He
I
beats her
feel
up,
like
and she's beats him right back.
well, that's good. I'm
No
glad that she's
shame.
matching his energy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's so little and she's already matching his energy. So I can't
Oh,
imagine when she's like in a
full
couple
grown.
months from
Yep.
now. Oh my god.
She's 3 months now, so you imagine like at 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Or like yeah. Yeah. Well, you're a great cat mom. You got your work
Yes.
cut out for you though.
Oh
Those two
yes.
are rambunctious.
So you can
And then
see
just got our little guy.
for now. One day.
Little guy Lemmy.
Yes.
Yeah, when we have the room, I just like I don't know because it's like a lot of in the air. Because part of me wants him to have a friend, and then the other part is like I don't know if things would like freak him out so much because he can't. Well, we have little issues with the eye, so he cannot see. We'll get a
Yes.
backstory for that in a later episode,
Yes.
but probably maybe in the next episode. Maybe we can.
That's
Oh,
true.
brewing.
Yes.
We'll see. But yeah. So I don't know if the fact that he can't see what's going on around him. I don't know if that would freak him
Yeah.
out. I don't know. There's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
But for now, we just got our little guy. For now,
Yes. But
you
you
know.
can follow him on
Yes,
TikTok.
it's
Well,
yeah.
her TikTok.
TikTok is my TikTok, but it's basically
It's
Lemmy's
hers.
TikTok. Am I
Niall's
being
on
real?
TikTok.
Uh
We're
huh.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Get the because you can find out when a new episode comes out.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you can just see
Keep
how
yourself
cute
updated.
cute our cats are.
I know.
Who
They're
wouldn't
adorable.
want it? Yes. Peace.
All right. That was the nostalgia hour. Hope y'all
Yes.
got real nostalgic with us.
Much no one did. They're like, I feel nostalgic.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.